Now, live from Rogers, Arkansas, watching the Ozark skies from Walton and Walnut to Vanderbilt and the Fort. Here's the whiz of Oz weather, Garrett Lewis.
Showers and storms are out there, and they're severe, and they're making their way closer to our area. Let me go back over to the radar here and show you what's going on. Looks like I'm frozen on the screen. That's no bueno at all, is it? We'll see if we can fix that. You know, that's the problem with running a home studio is you never know what's going to happen, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. And right now the camera's not happening, and so that's not a good deal. So I'm gonna have to fix that. And let me see if I can get it fixed for you real quick before I let's see here. Hey, there we are. It just took a little bit of practice, but I got it for you now. Better than starting over the live stream. So, anyway, so here's where we are right now. So we have showers and storms that are ongoing here in the area. This is Analyst, which is showing you where the strongest storms are currently happening. So, what I want to do is drill down on a couple of areas of rotation first. And the first area that jumps out at me, obviously, is where that tornado warned storm is. That's northwest of Zafra. That's going to be moving northeast right now in the Washita National Forest there, and then making its way into western Polk County, eventually central Scott County. That's the only tornado warned storm at the moment, but there are a couple of other storms out here that are worth watching. I was watching this little guy here. It doesn't look like much in Fayetteville right now. Watch this last scan, though. This thing actually had a bit of spin on it earlier, which was kind of interesting to watch it move on through. Let me see if I can recalibrate this to give you guys a color bank difference right in here. See it? It's not even in the warning area, but I think that's going to be something to watch because it's ahead of the line. And depending on what this thing does here in the next couple of scans, that could pose some kind of risk down the road. So let's start. Let's go back over to the other source here. Let's start north and south. So this is a wide view of what's happening. You can see the line of storms essentially lined up right now, up and down the I-49 corridor from just west of Bella Vista back down all the way through Mena and southeast Oklahoma. So there's quite a bit that's out there as far as the showers and storms go, and those will continue to track north and northeastward. It looks like there's just now a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. This one for looks like Benton County as well as Washington County. Let me go back to the maps. You'll see it pop up on here, start flashing. So it was this one right here, new severe thunderstorm warning. It does include Bentonville, Siloam Springs, as well as Elm Springs. I'm going to read the warning bulletin real quick here for you at the same time as you guys here looking at the bottom. So they did not tag this tornado possible, which means they don't see any rotation in this particular storm, but some strong gusty winds are certainly going to be a possibility as this thing moves on through. So this warning goes till 2:45. So about 30 minutes or so on this thing. They've got it moving northeast at 70. Holy cow, man. That's freaking booking it. I mean, that's a fast moving storm. And just the forward motion of the storm, sometimes that can even cause some wind damage. So that's what is happening here with that particular cell. I'm isolating it for any rotation. Heck, let me just show you. Here's what I'm looking at off camera. I'm looking for those inbound, outbound winds. I just don't see any right in here right now. Um, There's a lot of gusty winds inside of it. Let's change radar sources real quick. Let's go over to INX. This is out towards Inola. The radar will be a little bit closer to this. Populating, downloading from the cloud. Technology weird. Boom. All right. Up and down. I don't see anything. There's nothing spinning in this. There is a pocket of stronger winds in Gravette and Decatur that's moving north. There's also a pocket of stronger winds that's out there just east of Stillwell. This could be an area to watch. Let's switch back over to SRX now. That's the radar site located in the greater Fort Smith area and see about this. Yeah, you can see it right there. See how there's some stronger wind speeds there? If we ended up getting some kind of inbound, outbound winds, this would be a potential area to watch for rotation. That would be south of Dutch Mills. So there is something that's there, nothing intense. In Benton County, I don't see anything right now that jumps out at me that would indicate any kind of rotation. Let's check this one here in northeast Oklahoma. Yeah, None of that looks impressive either. So really, the strongest possibility of not only ooh, that didn't look right, wind damage or tornadoes is going to be, I think, with this little cell here near Dutch Mills. So that's going to be one to watch. Let's see here. I'll go back to storm relative and then to base velocity. There's a little eddy right there around Dutch Mills, I think deserves some attention. And I still think this guy here, even though it's not even warned, that is west of Johnson, I still think there's some kind of mid-level swirl there. Let me go up in the atmosphere and take a look at it. Yeah, there's some kind of meso right in here. There's no warning there, but there's something going on in the middle of the atmosphere. So I would watch this, particularly downstream because it's moving northeast. So you guys in East Rogers and Beaver Lake area, watch that one as it moves northeast. Now farther south, man, we're about to get jacked in Fort Smith, aren't we? These showers and storms are just west of town, coming in and out over Roland. Let's look and see here. We don't have any warnings on this yet. I think a severe thunderstorm warning is probably going to be coming soon, just because notice the greens, how they've intensified as it moves closer to the radar site. So that's an indication that the wind speeds are picking up out around Roland, and we probably eventually do get some kind of severe thunderstorm warning. Probably includes Sequoia, North LaFleur, probably the Fort Smith and Van Buren area. Just based on what I'm seeing on radar, this looks like it's something that probably is going to trigger some kind of severe thunderstorm warning here in the Fort Smith region. So that's where that storm is currently located. I'm going to see if I can pop up a camera there just west of Fort Smith, and we'll see what this thing looks like down at the surface. Maybe that Dora camera would be a good one. Actually, it's not because I just pulled it up and it sucked. Let's see here. Let's look a little farther east. This is looking westbound from exit 3. Let's see if we can see anything here. That's on I-40 looking west into this here west of Fort Smith. Really not much happening right now, but expect all that to change as that line of storm starts to move in. Again, moving west to east into the greater Fort Smith area here. You can see kind of a little bit of a bend too, south of Fort Smith. That's going to be something to keep an eye on. Sometimes if these things start ingesting their own atmosphere, they can get a little crazy a little quick. So that's one to watch here west of the Fort Smith region. Particularly, what I would be curious is if anything right in here starts spinning west of Arcoma. And while there's nothing there now, let's see here. Look at those greens picked up, huh? The wind damage potentials come up quite a bit. We're going to need to watch this area to see if any outbound winds increase. That could indicate a rotational component to this. If I tilt the radar up, I don't see anything that catches my attention right now. But knowing that the atmosphere is favorable for these storms means it's something we got to keep a watchful eye on. So Benton County still under severe thunderstorm warning. My goodness, do we have those storms coming into Siloam Springs? It is raining all over the place here in the Siloam Springs area. Let's take a look at this thing. This is in Siloam, and man, is it coming down. You're looking live, and that's looking westward towards the casino there. The winds are going. The rain is heavy right now. I don't see any hail bouncing around. Some of you guys had some hail last night, and there's a potential we could get some hail tonight as well as this thing moves through. But right now, damaging winds and the tornado threat are the two that I'm keeping a watchful eye on right at the moment. Although I do think hail is going to be a possibility with some of these storms. They're going to move in from the west to the east, and this is more of an early round. So I think we really have a chance of seeing storms more so during the afternoon hours, and it should be over by evening. I think we actually start to see this thing start to calm down by evening, which is better than most of our severe weather events. It seems like they, well, I mean, like last night, right? Things tend to happen like right smack dab in the middle of the night, and that's never any fun. So that's what it looks like now in Siloam Springs. And then we'll keep an eye on this thing that's out there, see how it moves through. Um, the thing is, guys, on the back side of this, once you're clear, you're clear. Southsaw's clear. Nothing else the rest of the night. So I mean, it's a quick one. What are we? 2:15. By about 4 or 5 o'clock, we're gonna be done. We don't have any severe weather. Don't have to wake up in the middle of the night. Don't have to wake up every 20 minutes and look at radar like we were doing last night. At least I was. But until this thing moves through, there's still that potential for severe weather. Really kind of surprised there hasn't been a new warning on this one yet. The wind speeds, at least to me, have picked up in excess of about 60 miles an hour here near Roland. I would expect a new warning, probably including Van Buren with that storm anytime, um, probably sooner than later. And look at this, guys. You see this? Remember that Dutch Mill storm? Hang on. Here, Evansville. There. There's still some spinning going on here south of Lincoln too. It looks like, yep, just now, National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning. This one encompasses the greater Fort Smith area. So this is that same cell that we were just talking about. You can see it flashing on the map. So new severe thunderstorm warning, not surprising in the least, just because we've been watching those strong winds over Roland, haven't we? And so now we know that the Weather Service has seen this too and has gone ahead and pulled the trigger on the severe thunderstorm warning. So isolating where those severe wind gusts are in the storm moving into Fort Smith. Seeing the heaviest here, it's actually getting close to the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line, right there on Dora, really, more so than anywhere else. We can look eastbound there, but its storm hasn't hit yet. So that's out towards Dora. Isn't it nice to see everything green finally, though? We definitely need the rain. Seems like it sucks because we always end up getting the rainfall with the severe thunderstorms. So that's the line of cells. This is zoomed in here out over Fort Smith as that line moves in. Um, let's look at this scan, guys. Let's see what's going on. A whole lot of change with that, except for bringing those winds over the state line. Let me look back to the north. Got a little bit of an error with the radar, which is common. Cool. The Weather Service did update this one tornado warning here to the south. Let's see what they updated it for. They've still got it as radar indicated. I'm curious on analysts, though, what they're showing this thing as. Let me look here real quick. Should be able to see the debris a little bit better if we go over to analysts. Hang on a sec here. There it is. So there's our tornado warning. Let's go ahead. Let's go two screen on this. So let's look at the rain on one side and the wind on the other. Oh yeah, there we go. So the actual tornado would be right here. See it matching up on radar. So that's the reflectivity, that's the wind speeds. I'm going to back out a little more. Now I'm going to change the reflectivity. Actually, I'm going to change the velocity to isolate the rotation. So the rotation couplet is strongest right in here. This is a pretty rural area, northwest of, looks like northwest of Potter, west of Mina. I think right now, if a tornado does develop out of this, it probably moves northeast, northwest of Mina as it tracks northeast and also south of Black Fork. I'm going to go back to one panel now. We're looking right now at reflectivity. I'm going to isolate the rotation. There's the rotation. Now let's look at velocity again. Sure enough, we've got it spinning. I'm going to place a marker, a little red dot right there in the middle. And now I'm going to go to a debris tracker here. And I don't see anything on that red dot that indicates we have any debris in the air. So probably not on the ground right now, just west of me, but certainly a tornado warning and something to be mindful of. Farther north, the storm's now hitting the greater Fort Smith region. It's hitting Dora like crazy. You're looking live here. Looks like we've got some hail with this stuff too as it moves through. That's a live look eastbound in Dora as it moves into Fort Smith. Damaging winds will be likely winds in excess of about 60 miles an hour at the greatest. That's what it looks like here on radar. You can see it moving into downtown Fort Smith. That's going to be affecting Garrison Avenue and a good portion of west central Arkansas as it moves on through. Heavy winds, heavy rainfall, and torrential rain, man. I mean, you're just talking about a lot of rain in a very small amount of time. A pretty nice, gnarly looking shelf cloud, too, that's going to move over out ahead of this. Southbound on 49, actually 540. You can see it there to the right side of the screen. And you can see get a feel for those low clouds, the lowering that's out there. That's not a wall cloud, by the way. It's probably the most commonly mistaken for a wall cloud are the shelf clouds that are moving through. But the big story is going to be this, and it looks like just now. Let me look back out of here. The thing's still wrapped up really, really good here in Mina. Look at this a little more, guys. Back out. Still radar indicated. The true circulation is here on Highway 8. There's nothing on debris tracker though that would indicate that it's on the ground. Remember, that's the dual pole radar shooting the beam in both sections, both vertical and horizontal. So we would have an idea if debris was actually getting lofted and thrown up into the storm. Doesn't look like it's happening. Nonetheless, there is a tornado warning on that storm. Moving back to the north, guys, we're in the clear. Quick, Salem Springs done for the day. How about that, huh? No more showers and storms. That thing has moved on through. So you have this line that's moving through now. So let's diagnose this line north to south. We'll go do it with analyst first. Let's see if we can get this thing pulled up. It looks like, Waldron's still under the tornado warning there on the south side of the storm. Let's see how long this one goes until. I've got it till 2:30, so about another 8 minutes, but I bet they reissued downstream of that. And then you have all these other storms here that are also ongoing. But the Fort Smith area getting jacked right now with these storms. They're moving through pretty heavy in downtown Fort Smith, coming down Rogers Avenue. I wonder if we can see what Rogers Avenue looks like right now if we look northbound in the Fort Smith area. So here you are. You can see those showers and storms. That's looking north, so they've kind of filled into the left out there over Van Buren, but we haven't had them hit just now in the Rogers Avenue area. I think we'll have a better view of this as it moves into Fort Smith right through here. So there's a new sweep too. All right, so there's where the storms are heaviest. Between Dora along Dora Road, that's exit 3, so that's right along Clayton Expressway there, or Riverfront Drive, whatever it's called now, out there towards Gerber and 255, 64 into Van Buren. This is over by, you got Shamrock Liquor here, and then over the bridge you've got the Sonic, and then you got the courthouse right in here. So this is moving into historic downtown Van Buren, as well as Midland Avenue, kind of just to the northwest of the fairgrounds in Fort Smith. That's that cell. The one to the west southwest is about to hit Sister's house. Nicole, how's that feel outside? Heavy showers and storms out there over Moffett, Arcoma, and Pecola. These are all tracking towards the east. Pretty strong storm in there. That's going to be moving over the west side of Fort Smith as a severe thunderstorm cell capable of wind damage. I think is probably going to be our biggest risk here. And I think if we look west from out there on the Choctaw Casino, we can probably get an idea of winds. There you go. So look at the trees there on the left and the right side. So some strong gusty winds. I don't see any hail bouncing around though right now. Well, I say that. Look in the middle of the median there. Did we already get some hail? Or are those just like flowers? Tough to tell. Of course, when it's bouncing around, it's a lot easier to tell, but that's a live look looking south there from Arcoma as the storm hits. The guys, this is what's headed into Fort Smith in about the next 15 to 20 minutes. So expect widespread heavy wind, rain, and even some hail as this moves through. At the moment, this storm near Arcoma is not spinning, but the atmosphere is primed for some rotation today. So I'd be a little more concerned than most when it comes to it. Hey, let's go back to radars, a new scan here right over Arcoma. It looks like downtown Fort Smith starting to get a taste of this stuff too, right in here. You can see some of the heavier cells. Look at that around South B Street, really coming in out over Wheeler Avenue with heavy showers and storms. That's going to be tracking along South C Street. Zero Street as well is probably going to get this stuff soon. Backing out a little bit more and moving south, South O. It looks like it's moving right around Main Street and State Line near Arcoma. So Baldor is going to be right in here. And then as you move down Y Street and Mill Creek, here's Towson Avenue where it dumps out over to Fresno. And then going farther to the south around Mill Creek and Phoenix Avenue as well as 24th. A little bit of a break there from Arcoma South, but boy, it picks back up out around the radar. You got the storm essentially right over the radar there in Fort Smith, out over the dump. And that's going to be affecting the radar here for about the next 15 minutes or so. Attenuation tends to happen when the storm's over the radar, so it'll make the red colors look less red because the beam is shooting through so much more stuff. So that is something to keep in mind, that if these storms look like they're weakening, they're really not. Matter of fact, they're probably intensifying just a little bit, and it looks like we've got a new one. There we go. So this is a new tornado warning. This is going to encompass Waldron. So you can see this one is going to be flashing on the screen here. So this is the same cell that was in southeast Oklahoma that has made its way to the north. So new tornado warning now here in Waldron. You can see it lighting up on the screen. Waldron, the sirens are going to be sounding here any moment. This is a tornado warning for Waldron for a storm that's not in Waldron yet. It's still back to the west and southwest. I'm seeing it out here just northwest of Mena. So we've still got some time before this thing moves through. Eagleton and Rich Mountain, west of Acorn. Let's see what they've got on this warning here. They've still got it radar indicated, so no storm spotter has seen it, and debris has not been pushed into the beam. But there is definitely a tornado warning now in effect for the town of Waldron. So you guys in Waldron, get ready to take your severe weather precautions depending on how this thing is going to play out here in about the next 15 minutes or so. But central Scott County is under a tornado warning now with that storm that's moving across the northwest part of Polk County and eventually getting into southwestern Scott County. A moment here. There's only one camera down there with RDOT. It's in Y City, and that's what I was working on. There it is. That's looking southbound out around Y City. You can see the gust front and the wind starting to pick up out there. And if you look in the distance too, at the very top of the screen, you can probably make out that shelf cloud. That's that low-hanging dark cloud that's out there as it starts to approach. And man, those creeks and streams and rivers, they're all full. We've had a lot of rain. It's always good to get the spring rains. We need the rain. It just sucks that we get it all at once, right? Can't really space these things out at all. It's either feast or famine. Radar source here. Again, Waldron under a tornado warning right now. Keep in mind, guys, the storm is still southwest of you. How far? Let me let the sweep come through, and then I'll measure it for you. I'm going to go ahead and isolate velocity. So I'm seeing the rotation here. That is 20 miles west-southwest of Waldron is where that is. New scan. So 20 miles west-southwest of Waldron. Is it moving towards you in Waldron? Let's see. Kinda is. We'll see if it holds together. But if you're in Waldron, you're watching this, you're watching TV too, and you got this pulled up on your phone, get ready to move to that tornado safe spot. Keep an eye on this one, guys. The atmosphere is pretty prime for strong storms. It's more humid here too, so I think that the risk of tornadoes is just a touch higher here. Right now, it's not coupled up enough to where there's anything that's popping up and popping out here on radar where I'm like, oh, okay, it's on the ground. Let's look. I don't see anything that indicates it's on the ground right now, but keep a very watchful eye on that, guys, in Waldron. Farther north in Fort Smith, boy, that thing hauled, didn't it? It's right over 540 now. Is that right over Rogers Avenue? Kind of looks like it is. That thing came in fast. Let's see if we can pull up Rogers Avenue looking northbound in Fort Smith. There it is. Heavy wind and rain. Don't see any hail bouncing around right now. Again, that's northbound in the Fort Smith area near Rogers Avenue. That's what it looks like on radar. And the heaviest of this storm is actually out there around, looks like it's on Rogers Avenue, moving into Dallas Street, south 74th Street, just off of Rogers, running south. So this is over there by Sam's Club, the entrance, McKinnon Boulevard. That's the entrance to the Fort Smith Regional Airport. Rogers Avenue East. The heaviest may be closer out towards the Old Fort Gun Club there on 59, kind of by Lock and Dam, it looks like. And then we got more out to the west. I don't think this is doing anything. Let's sweep. This is a new sweep too. So I'm curious to see what this looks like, and then I'm gonna look for rotation in there too. Looks like it's over Pensacola. Nothing's spinning though over in this area, so I like that. Don't see anything going on here. There's some gusty winds near Cameron, but I don't see anything wrapping around. There's something near Gilmore that might need to be watched. It may be erroneous. I don't see anything that on the storm structure that really indicates it. Now, farther south, it is a different story. This is a tornado warned storm here, just south and west of Waldron. It's this guy right there. There is rotation on it. The rotation has gotten tighter. It's right here, and this is going to be one that we need to watch real close here for the next, right there, for about the next 15, 20 minutes or so to see how this evolves. It may very well get close to Waldron. If it does, it will pose a tornado threat. That's the only tornado risk at the moment. Now, moving back to the north, what do we got going on? We're taking a bit of a break here from Benton and Washington County, but I want to get back into this and talk about what these storms look like. But before we go street level, let's go ahead and look at this thing from the analyst view here. And this is going to be taking an in-depth look at where this is the strongest. So zooming out, here we are with the storms. We have severe thunderstorm warnings now in effect for Washington, Benton County. These are going to track north, northeast. There is the potential for some of these things to rotate, but remember, once it's gone, it's gone. You're not going to listen to me for like another hour and a half, guys, because this is a fast moving line. It's going to be over with really, really quick. So this is what it looks like. Let's take a look at any rotational components within it by changing over to velocity. And there may be a little bit of weak rotation south of Bella Vista. And maybe a little bit here, nothing really that impressive. And there may be a little bit back down to the south, but there's nothing that really stands out more than the one that's south of Waldron. That's the one that's really wrapped up in spinning. Here's the catch, though. The atmosphere is actually more primed for tornadoes here in central and South Missouri and central Arkansas. So as these things move east, I do think they ramp up and intensify. I also think that storm that's coming to Waldron, I don't see anything that's going to slow it down. So as it gets closer to Paris and Boonville and maybe even Clarksville, it may just keep on keeping on. This one is showing some kidney bean shapeage here northwest of Rudy. There is nothing on velocity, though, that shows it spinning. Nothing there. I'd be curious to see what this thing does over time, though. Let me tilt the radar up. There's a little weak meso right there, isn't there? Right there. Back down to the surface, though, nothing. So there is some spinning that's going on in the atmosphere here, but it's nothing that's worked its way down to the surface. Hopefully it stays that way. It'd be awesome. Tornado warning continues here for Waldron and Scott County. Things definitely wrapped up. Nothing on I don't know why they have to give these things such fancy names. I get it. We're all scientists. This is called correlation coefficient, but really it just shows you where the debris is. That's it. So it's measuring size particles in the atmosphere. So if they're all similar size, like if they're all shaped like Skittles, then it knows it's rain. But if one is shaped like a Tootsie Roll and one's like a Skittle, then it's not. That usually indicates these darker blue colors. So what I'm doing when I look for rotation like this is the first thing I do is I look at radar and I see what the signature is, right? So I can tell there's a hook here. So I'm going to place a marker where the hook is. Now you can see a little red dot. And then I look at velocity. I look at base velocity first and I say, okay, yeah, it looks like it's rotating there. Then I look at storm relative velocity. Storm relative subtracts the forward motion of the storm. So we're only looking at forward wind speeds. We're only looking at wind speeds inside the storm. And I can see, yeah, the outbound winds are stronger, or the inbound are stronger than outbound, but there's still some rotation there. And then so I look for that little red dot, which I've got here, and then I look for the correlation coefficient, and I look for the blue colors in the same area. If the blue colors right here match up to rotation here and here and on the radar presentation of the hook, that often means that we have a tornado in progress. It's not what's happening right now, but that's what meteorologists are looking for. The reason everything went dark just now is because I clicked on maximum estimated hail size. I'm just curious if anybody's seen any hail out there, and it looks like there's some small hail that's falling, probably about pea size, pea to dime size here between Cedarville and Rudy. That's in that dark part of that cell that's tracking towards the east northeast. So wide view with analysts, and then we're going to get back over to a different radar source. There's the line of storms up and down the I-49 corridor. Game on storms right now. Hey, and like I said, guys, once it clears, it clears. There's nothing else after this. We're not going to be up all night like we were last night watching these storms. So starting from north to the south, we have storms moving into Bella Vista and Hiwassee, inbound into Bentonville and Rogers. They're just to the west. We're X and A right now. Heavier storms lined up here from Fayetteville and Johnson down through West Fork, but really you get into the strongest storms out here around Mountainburg. I still think this storm, even though we didn't see much as we tilted the radar up, I think it's trying to do something fishy here. I'd keep an eye on this one. There's nothing really rotating at the moment, but storms like this, I've just seen things like this do a little bit of wonky stuff. So watch this one southwest of Mountainburg. I think by the time it moves east of Mountainburg, especially if it makes a southeast jog, this thing probably ramps up and may even spin a little bit more. Greater Fort Smith area, we had that big area of rain that moved through. Matter of fact, we're still seeing that stuff come through Rogers Avenue and 540. The heaviest is out there on the east side of town now of Highway 22 or well, Rogers Avenue east of 49, basically out there over where the old Best Buy building is and Starbucks. And then you have more to the west out there by the Cherokee Casino running south through Arcoma. And then, of course, when you get farther south, then you run into that tornado warning cell that's west southwest of Waldron. The inbound winds are stronger than outbound. As of right now, it does not look like there's a tornado on the ground. But this is definitely a storm to keep a very, very watchful eye on. Go back to a different radar source and go full screen. Let's talk about what's happening here. Here's another live look at it. Let's loop it here. This is the front, by the way, guys. Boy, this thing is up and down the 49 corridor, isn't it? I don't know about y'all, but it was nice to have a break from soccer this weekend and lacrosse. Of course, that means there's probably going to be like a double, triple, quadruple header coming up in the weekends to follow. But what do you do? We'll deal with it when we deal with it. That's a line of storms. Let's stop this sucker. What do you want to do? North, south? Why don't we go to the strongest storm first, then go north? This is the strongest storm here near Waldron. Where is it spinning? First of all, they tag this observed yet? Nope, still radar indicated. Velocity on this still shows some. The couplet is going to be located southwest of Waldron here, which is how far away is that thing? If there was a tornado from downtown Rogers in 71, about 13 miles to your west southwest. New update there puts it a little closer. 12 miles west southwest of you. Let's see here. There's a little bit of a fall off here. It's going to be something to watch. Nothing that indicates a tornado is actually on the ground, but the tightest rotation here is coming towards Waldron. You guys in Waldron need to be on the highest alert. Moving farther north, you can see that line of storms there. See the dark area there from Alma back to the southwest through Barling. Ballfields and Barling getting soaked, Wacola getting soaked. New radar scans coming through here. Of course, we had those strong winds in Mulberry this morning. Some of y'all's pictures were surprising. My goodness, a lot of tree damage out there. There's the new radar scan here. So heavy storms moving through Alma right now on Highway 71. There's the interchange there. So you got the Cracker Barrel here on the north side of town. There's Column Lane West out there by the intermediate school, and exit 13, which is going to run south close to Taco Bell and where the old Alma Mart used to be. I think it's a Harps now though. And then, of course, my old high school here on the south part of town out there by the ball fields. Looks like the heaviest is over downtown Rogers, though. Rogers. Alma. Rogers is where I live now. Alma's where I grew up. But that's all moving north, northeast. So heavy wind and rain here. Also, Dean's Market. So that's up there around, where you cross the top of the hill there by, was it Brammer's Barn, where the old flashing lights used to be? That takes you east out towards Dean Springs Road. So there are heavier showers and storms there moving up towards Graphic, and Rudy's getting some heavy showers and storms, as well as Hobtown. It ends quick though, guys. In Cedarville, we're already starting to taper down, so it's going to end just about as fast as this thing begins too. That said, there's still some heavy storms over South Fort Smith. Looking at them now from South 32nd Street over to Vicksburg Street, Waco Street, the darker areas of red pixels here right along Zero. That's out there by the Walmart there on Zero Street. Actually, that's going to be the Walmart there where the 271 runs north and south. So between the Walmart and some of the car dealerships, Bill White that's over there, the Coca-Cola bottling plant or Pepsi, whichever one it is, and Train, um, that whole industrial area is going to hit this, get this really quick as it moves right along. Looks like it's moving straight down Phoenix. So coming up over what you got here, Target in Phoenix on Phoenix Avenue. You got the McDonald's here off the 45 and 540. This is on the north side of the airport. So out there towards the pavilion, that's going to move east over towards Hardscrabble and then up towards Highway 9 and 10, and then eventually get up there again towards the east side of Phoenix Avenue. Really getting it too in Mazard right now. That's going to be Dallas Street, south to Rogers Avenue, south 74th. So east side of Fort Smith getting pounded right now, where all those new houses are going up here in Barling, out there by the Huckabee Nature Center. Heavy showers and storms over that region. Taking you northward though into Fayetteville. Let's look for tornadoes or anything like that first. Wind speeds first. Got some gusty winds. Nothing that indicates to me we're going to be dealing with any kind of rotational component to it. Uh-oh, something else just popped up. This is a new tornado warning. Let's go to analyst. This will tell us where this little guy is. 1 second here. I think they issued it on that one on 49. Hasn't populated here yet, but it will shortly. Let's see if we can find it. I think they issued it based on this stuff. Isolating, I bet it's right here. See it right here near Chester? That dark area. That was that area we put the red dot on too, wasn't it, earlier? So it would probably be right there. Like just southeast of Winslow. You got two areas to watch now of rotation. You got the one to the north, and there it is, just populated. Yeah, and that's what they did. They issued it here for this one near Chester that's moving northeast. So this is a new tornado warning here. This does include southeast Washington County, also includes northern Crawford County, and the strongest part of this spin is right there near Chester, just north of Mountainburg. This is going to come real close to where one of the RDOT camera is on exit 34. So I'm just going to pull that sucker up. Let's take a look at it. You're looking live now out towards exit 34. This is looking southbound. So this is real close to where that rotation is located. While you're looking at that, I'm going to take the radar, see if I can find exit 34 here and show you guys where it is. And where the tornado is. You know what sucks is exit 34 is right there, and the tornado's north of there. So we're looking south, so we actually wouldn't see anything here. It'd be on the flip side of the camera back up towards the north. So that's the area here to watch. Let's look at correlation and see if we got any debris up there. It's messy and noisy. Came down on the last scan too. Here's a loop of it. Ramped up really quick and then ramped back down. We'll see what that thing does. It's right there over the tornado warning there is over Chester and near Winslow. So I wonder if we look from Winslow south, we might be able to see the lowering that's out there on a southbound cam. I know those northbound cams look terrible. You can't really see anything right now. But looking due south, well, if we look south from the tunnel, it looks like we're walking in a cloud. There's just nothing you can see. That's how heavy this rain is. So that's looking south from the tunnel. That was pointless. Um, Tornado warning here just south of Winslow. Looking southbound from mile marker 44, trying to look into it. It's just hard to see. And I think this stuff is going to be rain wrapped and really challenging to see with anything that moves through. So, a couple tornado warnings. Let's reset. Let's get a big wide view here and let's talk about any other areas of rotation. This is a wide view of the showers and storms. You've got two tornado warnings in effect. You have one near Waldron, the other one just east of central Crawford County. Around Chester-ish, Ozark, that Chester area as it moves into the Ozarks. Farther north, do we have anything spinning? I'm curious to see Springdale and Fayetteville. So we're going to go into Fayetteville right now and take a look and see if anything's cooking over here. And right now, I don't see anything. There's a little bit of something going on here on the north side of Fayetteville, nothing intense. And there's nothing in Bentonville and in Rogers that looks intense right now, other than the wind that is out there. So still some strong winds as it moves through. But this could be an area here to watch for tornado development out towards Chester as it moves north and northeast. So keep that in mind here as the storm moves in. Very strong storm, lots of wind here just to the north of where this is, up on those high elevation overpasses near Winslow. You can't see Jack. I mean, it's raining like crazy there. The weather always seems like it's on its own planet too over the Ozarks when you walk or when you drive up and down the 49 from Fayetteville to Fort Smith, doesn't it? Well, the wind's blowing sideways there. It looks like it's coming in west to east. So we'd be on the north side of the rotation where this is located. And that actually does line up here out towards Chester. Let's just let this thing scan first. The east of the interstate now. So I'm seeing the rotation east of the interstate, north of Chester. You know, it doesn't look to me like it's going to be spitting out a tornado right now. Wait for one more scan to come through here. I mean, is it spinning? Yes, it's right here near Maddox Springs, Artist Point. Oh man, the old Artist Point. You guys know right what this is, right? You can pull over take a look at the valley. That picture you can take as you look south over the valley, that's exactly where this is. Out over Shepherd Springs Road, Artist Point moving northeast up towards Winfrey and Mount Gaylor. So east of Mount Gaylor in this area. It's not super strong. I don't see anything that just jumps out at me. I mean, I see pockets of rotation here in Southwest Rogers that are just as strong, as well as the Johnson area, and even South Fayetteville that are as strong. When I move south, though, it's really getting closer to the Waldron area that it was the strongest. But just looking at it now, it looks like it's actually been more linear. I wonder if we can loop this real quick. You guys hear my kids fighting? It's the life I live. That's broad in Waldron now. I mean, it's still it's a tornado warned storm. I wouldn't discount it. It's not something you want to take lightly on a day like today. It is radar indicated. It's pretty close to Waldron. I don't see anything that indicates the tornadoes on the ground or coming into Waldron right now. Um, Take it seriously. Take shelter. Move the kids in the hallway until this thing moves through. But just know that as we're looking at it right now, it does not look like it's on the ground at the moment. There's a second tornado warning here to the north. Let's look at this one a little closer. Not much. Matter of fact, there's actually a little more here west of Elkins. Truth be told. Let's see here. Back over to analyst. Take this sucker wide. See if we can isolate this rotation a little better here. Be right there. Yeah, right there. Still over Mount Gaylor. So just north of there's Lake Fort Smith. Remember back in the day before they merged it, it was like Lake Shepherd Springs and Lake Fort Smith. I used to, what's funny is I used to always go up there for Easter egg hunts back in the day. And today's Easter. It never stormed like it did today though. Back in the day when we did that, um, still camp at Lake Fort Smith. It's a nice place. Rent boats, stuff like that. Nothing stands out here that looks like there's actually a tornado happening right now. This is the area I'd watch. North side of Lake Fort Smith, right there. I'll place a marker there for you guys. East to 7, actually, it just moved. Now it's more northeast. It's right there. Northeast of Chester, east of the Hale. Very rural area here. Normalized rotation shows it east of 71. So it is east of 71. But there is a tornado warning on it. So, I mean, don't discount it. Don't be like, it's no big deal. Could be a big deal. So here's the line of showers and storms 68 mile per hour wind gust out there in Pineville. Let's go north south and talk about what's happening here across the area. We'll go back to this. So just to recap what's happening regionally, here's what's going on. So we have showers and storms. This is along a cold front. This is a one and done type thing. We're not going to be looking at storms all night again like we did the last 2 or 3 nights. After this moves east, we get a break for about 2 or 3 days. The problem is it's game on right now, up and down the I-49 corridor from Bella Vista to Waldron. We have warnings. Matter of fact, looking at it, there's not one spot on I-49 from Bella Vista to Fort Smith that's not under a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning right now. There's a little bit of a break south of Fort Smith, then it picks back up in Waldron. They're under tornado warning. So what I want to do real quick is take a look at where the strongest storms are located, where the rotation's located, and then talk about what happens next with this. So let's go back to analyst first and let's move north and south. There's a wide view. Here's an animation of how this thing is playing out. West to east, right? You can see it tracking in. And then if we look back to the north, first out towards Bella Vista and Pea Ridge, we have some heavy wind and rain underway. Nothing that indicates any rotation in this area, although there is some strong gusty winds, especially out there around Rogers and Lowell right now, as well as Fayetteville. The rotations fell off quite a bit on this storm in North Crawford County, Southeast Washington County. We'll see what they elect to do. I still think Waldron is probably the most immediate impact from this storm, more so than anything else from a potential tornado in the Waldron area. That's what I'm most concerned with right now. I mean, matter of fact, let's go back over here. And I'm going to drop back south. Let's see what we got here on this one. It's radar indicated on this storm. So they're going to include, it looks like, yeah, they're going to go ahead and include Boonville and Magazine in this tornado warning. So it's the same area that we've been watching. It's the cell west southwest of Waldron. That's the one that's moving northeast that now has a tornado warning for the Boonville Magazine area. So new tornado warning here. Let's zoom in and see if we can find out where this rotation is going to be the strongest. I'm seeing it near Waldron, isolating the rotation. Boy, it's right over Waldron. You guys in Waldron need to be in your safe spot. There's nothing that indicates that it's on the ground to me. Um, don't go outside and look, but I think the wall cloud's like right over you guys in Waldron right now, like right over you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna load the Facebook up and see some of these comments that are on there as I take a wide view. While I'm looking at that, I'm gonna go ahead and animate this, and then zoom in on these storms just so you guys can see while I'm looking at it what's happening here. Let's look at the one to the south first, and then we'll go back to the north. Let's see here. Got some heavy rain and wind in Lowell from Jason. Van Buren, sirens are going off since we're in Crawford County, rotation near Chester. Yeah, so that's another thing too. Depending on the municipality, they may sound the sirens for the whole county or they may just do it for the polygon. So you guys in Crawford County, especially in Alma and Van Buren, you're not under a tornado risk at all. That tornado threat is farther to the north, northeast. Just scanning through, seeing if there's any damage or anything like that. None of y'all have posted anything, so hey, so far so good, and we'll take it. Let's see. I'm gonna stop the radar here. Let's look for rotation again. It's very broad. It's elongated. It's right over Waldron. You guys in Waldron, it's right over you right now. There's actually a little bit to the south too, right in here. Matter of fact, the south one actually looks a little bit. This one actually looks like it's a little better than the one to the north now. But there are tornado warnings that are in effect for Waldron with the rotation essentially right over you guys. Let's animate this and see if it's trending up or down. Seems to be trending down. It's something to watch though, because what I think is going to happen is this thing's probably going to wrap up as it moves northeast. So I think Boonville Magazine, it's moving into an environment where it's got a lot to work with. Severe thunderstorm warnings are still out here in west central Arkansas, out around Alma. This is what it looks like as far as radar goes. That's the Alma area. It looks like it's almost over with on the west side of Fort Smith. So that's it. No more. Nothing else coming in. You can do your Easter egg hunt. Just got the fish for 'em later on this evening. Looking into the storm in Rogers. This is ongoing now near 71 Oak Street, South 8th Street. Let's see if we can get a feel for what this guy looks like here out over Rogers. Looks like there's an accident out there because, of course, there is on 49 because it's raining. That's what happens when it rains. That's grab it. I'm looking at exit 100. I'm trying to find you guys a picture of what it looks like in Rogers right now. And maybe we can take it from Walton Boulevard. It looks like that camera's down. Cool. So we'll go a little farther to the north here and look for 102 on Southwest 14th Street. There you go. So this is the storm on Southwest 14th. So that's looking towards that new U-Haul building they built on the, what is that, the east side of the interstate. So you're looking southbound here in Bentonville. Get back to full screen on that. There you go. It doesn't want to stay full screen. I'm gonna do it one more time, then I'm gonna quit. That's in the Rogers area. Actually, this is Bentonville looking back down towards the south. So still in the middle of the storm, but nothing in this area though that indicates any kind of rotation or even damaging winds. So so far so good here in Lowell and Rogers. Some gusty winds for sure, probably 40, 50 miles an hour. Little kinks in this is what I'd be concerned with. There's a couple of them. There's one right in here, it looks like. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on as we see this thing track in. Right now, though, that's going to be about it for that one. And then as we move back to the south, you've got, of course, those two tornado warnings here with neither that are super wrapped up. I mean, trust me, I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you guys, I've seen a lot worse than this. And right now, it doesn't look like this thing is actually super tight as far as rotation goes. One thing I will tell you, northeast of Waldron, though, if I animate this, you guys can see how these red reds are getting redder and the greens are getting greener northeast of Waldron. I think what happens is this thing probably hooks up around Boonville. So you guys in Boonville, heads up here. And I think that's why the Little Rock Weather Service went ahead and issued that tornado warning, because I think what happens over time is this thing gets a little more wrapped up. And if it starts to ingest those southeast winds, then look out. We're going to have some issues. Back to the north, though, showers and storms ongoing. Downtown Rogers, boy, we've been hitting downtown Rogers so much lately. Last couple of years, it just seems like it's just nonstop, doesn't it? Traffic's moving pretty slow out there towards Pleasant Grove, and because it's raining, there's cars that are stopped or stalled on 49, because of course there are. And that's looks like a semi that stopped there on the ramp. That's southbound. So what's that? Walmart one there on the left, Pleasant Grove exit. Go back to full screen. New scan just came through too. Heaviest is really over downtown Rogers and Rogers East right now, out towards Prairie Creek. So that's along North Second. There's Prairie Creek Drive running east, West Walnut, West Poplar. I was down here the other day. Man, I love the rail yard. Isn't it awesome? Rail yard's great. Going down there and riding bikes at the bike park. There's Oak Street and one of Rogers' 50,000 million roundabouts. Did you know Rogers has more roundabouts than anybody in the world? Well, if you did, it's because I totally made that up. So they don't. But there's a lot of roundabouts in Rogers, and they're even showing up on the maps now. Seriously, I totally made that up. It's not more than anybody in the world. Although it'd be interesting to see who has the most roundabouts. I've heard Conway's doing the Rogers thing and putting roundabouts everywhere. We zoom back out here. The two tornado warnings. Hey, storms are over in Bentonville. Go to bed, enjoy the family, chill the rest of the afternoon. No big deal. Storms are over in Elm Springs. The all clear in Siloam Springs. No more storms coming through. And it looks like if we look at the camera, that truck has started moving again with whatever he's carrying. You think they're space boosters for SpaceX? No, I think they're propane tanks. One can dream, though. Back over to the radar images, you can see those showers and storms south of Elkin still going. Severe thunderstorm warnings, East Rogers, Bentonville, it's over with. It's over in Springdale, Hinesville, Huntsville. It's about to pick up. Storms are still underway here in southeast Washington County. That's still a tornado warned storm here, although I haven't seen anything that just really catches my eye on it. Well, I say that, and then I zoom in on it, and there's another pocket of rotation. So let's go ahead and look at this a little bit more. Yeah, it's back up. You see it right there? Weak. It's not strong. There's some rotation there. It's going to be just northwest of Brandon, north of 38, east of Miller Road along Olive Road. Very weak rotation on this storm. Let's look at correlation. No tornado debris up in it. So I think you got a pretty nice little wall cloud. It's probably rain wrap just spinning up here. About to get into Madison County now. Let's take you back to the greater Fort Smith area. Showers and storms out there around Lavaca on 96. That's just south of Military Road. There's Lavaca Road, Diamond Grove. East of that, that's going to be out there near the speed trap on the east side of town as you head out of Rogers and get into Central City. Still coming down pretty good on 255. With all this rain, I'm sure they close parts of those roads that always close in Lavaca. And it looks like, hey, downtown Fort Smith, you guys are in the clear now. There's nothing else going on in downtown Fort Smith. Over by the mothership F&B on Garrison Avenue, things are starting to simmer down too. So things are getting a little calmer. It's still pretty heavy though. They're near, where are we at here? North Main Street. That doesn't help me. We're east of Jenny Lind, Long Ridge Road, south of Howard Hill Road. Let me look here, guys. Show me a street. Did someone forget to name this one? There's no name on this street. We should have a contest. We should name it. Look at that. There's no name on this street. It's the no name street. It's probably one that I've heard of 1,000,000,000 times. There's South Boundary Road on 96, so it's a spur off 96. It's probably going through Chaffee's Y. That's on the north side of Greenwood. The heaviest is north side of Greenwood. So heavy showers and storms are in this area, guys. Looks like East Rogers is starting to get some of that stuff now. No tornado warned storm on that. Severe thunderstorm warnings though on the cell in eastern Benton County as well as eastern Washington County. Southeast Washington under a tornado warning. That's going to be as the storm moves into Madison County, but the storms are over in Fort Smith. Woo! Still got some going on though to the south. And we'll watch this guy as it moves in just because we do have that tornado warning that's on the cell here. That is near Waldron and coming up towards Magazine. This is probably the only storm I'm most concerned with right now. and it's just not wrapped up. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's not wrapped up. If anything, I think there's probably a new hook trying to form here outside of the warning polygon. Watch this, guys. So look in that area. I'll turn this off. Keep watching that area. See, right there. Got a little more spinning going on there than you do farther north where this warning is. Generally speaking, though, if you look at the red, you look for those little indentions. There's another area right there, and there's the main one right there they issued on. There's some spots that are spinning, but there's just nothing that really super stands out here on the line. That's interesting. Something's right there cooking. Let's see if there's any reflectivity. Yep, that one's probably going to tornado eventually. That's not going to affect us, so that's going to be more towards Mount Ida and Hot Springs. New sweep. So let's go back to velocity. This is passing that secondary area of rotation is passing just southeast of Waldron on 71 now. And again, that's moving northeast. Looks like there's a little pocket of rotation there on 412 west of Hinesville. Let's see what that looks like here. Not that impressive. So that's what we got going on right now. These showers and storms are tracking from west to east out across the area. Guys, it's over in Bentonville, in Rogers. It's leaving in Rogers. It's over in Fort Smith. It's over Fayetteville. It's over in Mountainburg for the most part. Some of that's moving east. It's about to be over. Is it over in Waldron? It may be over in Waldron. Let's see. Nah, it just ended in Waldron. But the stuff to the east of there, still game on for Paris, Boonville, and Clarksville. I'm going to keep an eye on that for you guys as it moves through. So the bottom line is this is the front. This is the one and done. It's over with after this. It's a big line. I think Central Missouri and North Arkansas, Mountain Home to Springfield, perhaps even up to St. Louis, really get jacked with tornadoes this evening. Daytime heating is going to reach its peak heating in about 2 hours. When those two overlaps, when you really gets crazy, and that's about 2 hours away. By that time, the storms are going to be east of Northwest Arkansas and the I-49 corridor. We still have that cell to watch as it moves into Boonville and Magazine. I'm going to keep the closest eye on that one. Just know in Northwest Arkansas, the worst is over for today. We get 2 days of drying out, and then we get more storms around the middle of next week. Fort Smith area, everything is east right now. Nothing is spinning. The one to watch is still that one Logan County. If anything starts to keep spinning, I'm going to break back in here on Boonville and Magazine, cover you guys as this stuff moves through Clarksville. So far, so good. No tornadoes on the ground, and we'll see how things play out in the next 2 hours.